Hello, I'm Caitlin Bauer, and I represent my group in homologous structures. So, you're reading this and you're thinking, okay, nice, evidence of evolution. And that's kind of a little bit scary for those of us who don't necessarily believe that that was how creation, that's how we were created. Personally, I believe in intelligent design, but my personal beliefs don't have to come into this because it's really not important in this area. In this specific scenario, I was kind of worried about giving so much time to this topic when I could be spending it elsewhere, being more productive in my faith or anything. So honestly, if you're having this kind of internal debate, thinking, should I vote, should I not vote, what will everybody else be, will I be a bad example? No, you won't be, because I won't be a bad example either for doing exactly what my teacher asked me to do. And my teacher's not wrong here. I need to learn evolution, and it's honestly going to help you to disprove it, even so you have a better understanding of it, because evolution's not a fact. Evolution is not a set truth. Evolution is a theory, which is so great. What's so great about it? Because you can disprove it. And if you have a friend who is a diehard evolutionist, you might be able to change their opinion or their thought process on this just by, I really hope that I can help you in some form, some way, to maybe understand evolution better, or maybe just to keep yourself informed, or to help someone that you know. So, when I'm doing this speech, don't feel like you need to not vote because of your religion or your personal point of view. Because all that you're voting for is what best supports evolution. So clearly it's homologous structures. I mean, come on. So the best proof, not proof, because you cannot prove evolution. You can't prove any of the theories out there for how we come to be, but to provide evidence for evolution, I'm going to tell you that it's homologous structures, because it's true. It's homologous structures, and that's the best evidence of evolution, regardless of your beliefs. Evolution is the process by which living organisms are thought to have developed and diversified from earlier forms or common ancestors. So the common ancestor has had each diverge, essentially. It's supported by so much evidence, fossils, math models, natural selection, artificial selection, all of this. So yeah, that's evidence, but homologous structures are clearly superior. They're clearly the most substantial evidence. But you're thinking, okay, fine. So what's a homologous structure? Like, what does that even mean? Well, homologous structures are structures that are similar within each organism. So you could go from, like, a cat to a human, for example. And that would tell you, okay, well, there's a shift there, because like for example, with the human arm, we have arms, right? And they have legs. They have 4 legs. We have 2 arms and 2 legs. Well, it didn't happen so abruptly. It wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna start crawling on my arms now and they're gonna turn into legs. No, it happened over a long period of time, which allowed for change and evolution to occur. So the similar structures of organisms are evidence that evolution has occurred on the earth with common ancestry. So even if their function is different, the common ancestry of the species is developing in a different way. So these are homologous structures. They're similar structures that provide evidence. Provide evidence for evolution. So you're kind of like, okay, so different functions because of a long line of descendants, right? So that's why the structures are so similar yet so different in their functions. The common ancestor is thought to be where the species originated and evolved from. So, like, mama's up here and the babies. So descendants are the children or the offspring. And this is the ancestry. So each species in specific evolution have branched off clearly over millions of years, and it's a long time span of how it has occurred. And they found different uses for the same edifice of the arm, or the arm, or the body part. So one might connect this to a new popular movie, Divergent, which was a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. So you may connect the two as an evolutionary process about to occur, where a deviation occurs from, in the movie it's a norm, and in evolution it's the first organism. So the organism, and then it branches off. So this allows for a more complex being to come from such an unevolved ancestor. So this movie models how structurally each one is almost identical, yet the divergent performs different functions from each of the others. So you may have 5 children and one of them's different. One of the animals is completely different. And you have 4 basic types of animals. You have bird, reptile, fish, and mammal. So those are 4 different, completely different organisms. And you're thinking, okay, exactly. So how do they perform such different functions? Well, it happened over millions of years. So there was that time gap that allowed things to change. So another example of this wonderful, true evidence of evolution is that the bone structure in a Homo sapien and a cat, like we just said, the humerus and the ulna and the radius, basically it's just the bones in your arms, the phalanges, the metacarpals and the carpals, right here. So those are very similar among us versus a cat, or so it was just so interesting to me that cats and humans are so similar yet so different in their functions. So evolution has occurred over a vast time. And to encapsulate this information, just that this is evolution occurring. And homologous structures definitely provide evidence for that. So there are numerous different structures within different species that they do not always have to have the same function. So they're not always going to be completely identical. They're going to have a slight difference. If you look closely at the relatives, you will see a slight difference between the 2 organisms. And then suddenly you see an abrupt difference whenever you look to something like a whale and a human. So you'll see an abrupt difference, but you can still look back and see that, oh yes, it still has the same radius and ulna and humerus, in your arm. So it's a very interesting structures. However, all of the pieces of evidence are imperative in evolution. Although excluding homologous structures from evolution would leave evolution with no evidence whatsoever to stand on. Because you can say that the fossils were whatever, or you can say math models helped to create evolution. But truly, if you look back, homologous structures are the physical evidence of evolution. So that's how we come to discover this. So the overall evidence is that homologous structures are clearly how evidence is provided for evolution, because without homologous structures, I mean, evolution is just a word. So I hope that this helped you, and vote for homologous structures. You can follow us on Twitter at homologousstruck, and you can also type in your Twitter hashtag MHS and that'll get you to our evolution debates, and you'll see that we are winning all of them. No, but just vote for homologous structures because it is the true substantial evidence for evolution. Thank you for your time.